Hello, wonderful world. Still trying to set up a little bit here. Okay. I figured I'd do a little quick live, real quick, just to read a little bit of the book that's entitled on this video. There's actually three books that I can start reading, believe it or not, because sometimes so these books, the reason I don't read, like I read the Quran, right? And I've read some of the Tonica, is what I call it. In the King James Holy Bible, some of these books I have read some parts of them. But there's actually three books that I can read certain parts of. And the reason I can read them is when it comes to me. But of course, the first one is the one that is titled in this video, and it is the Hermetica, Lost Wisdoms of the Pharaohs. Okay, so yeah, that's my bookmark. I found I was needing some bookmarks, but this is my bookmark that I use for most of my books. It was one of those tattoos, those dissolvable tattoos you put on there and get it wet. But I did it on a cardboard. That way I would always have it, So it always would stay there. And plus I like this, the way it looks. And I would love to have that tattooed on me. But yeah, this is what I use for my bookmark. I took it out of my book. It's okay. Because the reason it's okay is as I've been going through this book, I have been, doing all the research I need to be as I've been going through this book. All the stuff that is important, I've been underlining it or circling it, And I got to this part right here, and this is where I'm going to stop when I get to reading this. But I do have another reading of this on here that I'm probably going to delete because I'm going to start over reading it because that reading was just weird to me. Oh, but this is the one book that I'm reading, the Hermetica, Lost Wisdom of the Pharaohs. The other one is the Kabbalion, because this is a very, very, the Three Initiates, a very knowledgeful little book right here. And the other one is this one. And when I hold this up, you'll understand why, this book and the Kabbalion and a lot of other things, and the whole reason I'm reading this book too. But it is the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. And if you know anything about the Emerald Tablets, you know. So, but yeah, it's a very, very, so far what I've read there's, there is 12 tablets, if I'm not mistaken, I think, in this book, or that it is said to be in this book. I think there's 12 of them. 12 or 15, one of the two. I can't really remember. I think 12. But I read the first tablet that's in this book. So, but these 3 books is what I'm reading parts of them as I can. But yeah, so here it is. I'm just going to jump into it and start reading a little bit of the Hermetica, the Lost Wisdom of the Pharaohs. And first, I'm going to start off with what the book starts off with. And it is the last words of thrice great Hermes. Wise words, although written by my decaying hand, remain imperishable through time, imbued with the medicine of immortality by the All-Master. Be unseen and undiscovered by all those who will come and go, wandering the wastelands of life. Be hidden until an older heaven births human beings who are worthy of your wisdom. Having sounded this prayer over the works of his hands, Hermes was received in the sanctuary of eternity. Oh man, that's good. That's good. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, I ain't got my gold teeth in. I took them out because I needed to clean them, needed to brush my teeth, and I just didn't feel like putting them back in. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to read the introduction and then go into the next part of it. Introduction, a forgotten spiritual classic. The Hermetica is a collection of writings attributed to Thoth, a mythical ancient Egyptian sage whose wisdom is said to have transformed him into a god. Thoth, who was veneered in Egypt from at least, or not veneered, venerated in Egypt from at least 3000 BCE, is credited with the invention of sacred hieroglyphic writings, and his figure portrayed as a scribe with the head of an ibis can be seen in many temples and tombs. He is the dispatcher of divine messages and recorder of all human deeds. In the great hall of judgment, the afterlife court of the god Osiris, Thoth would establish whether the deceased had acquired spiritual knowledge and purity, and so deserved a place in the heavens. Thoth was said to have revealed to the Egyptians all knowledge on astronomy, architecture, geometry, medicine, and religion, and was believed by the ancient Greeks to be the architect of the pyramids. The Greeks, who were in awe of the knowledge and spirituality of the Egyptians, identified Thoth with their own god Hermes, the messenger of the gods and guider of souls in the realm of the dead. To distinguish the Egyptian Hermes from their own, they gave him the title Trismegistus, meaning thrice great, to honor his sublime wisdom. The books attributed to him became collectively known as the Hermetica. Although largely unknown today, the writings attributed to Hermes/Thoth have been immensely important in the history of Western thought. They profoundly influenced the Greeks, and through their rediscovery in the 15th century Florence, helped to inspire the Renaissance, which gave birth to a modern age. The list of people who have acknowledged a debt to the Hermetica reads like a who's who of the greatest philosophers, scientists, and artists that the West has produced. Leonardo da Vinci, Durer, Botticelli, Roger Bacon, Paracelsus, Thomas More, William Blake, Kepler, Copernicus, Isaac Newton, Sir Walter Wright, Milton, Ben Jonson, Daniel Defoe, Shelley and his wife Mary, Victor Hugo and Carl Jung. It heavily influenced Shakespeare, John Donne, John Dee, and all the poet philosophers who surrounded the the court of Queen Elizabeth I, as well as the founding scientists of the Royal Society in London, and even leaders who inspired the Protestant, whoa, I had a brain fart, Protestant Reformation in Europe. The list is endless, with the Hermetica's influence reaching well beyond um, the frontiers of Europe. Islamic mysteries and philosophers also trace their inspiration back to thrice great Hermes, and the esoteric tradition of the Jews acquired him with their mysterious prophet Enoch. The Hermetica is a cornerstone of Western culture. In substance and importance, it is equal to well-known Eastern scriptures like the Apandis, the Daham, Daham, Dahampada, Tao Ching, Tao Te Ching. If I mispronounce anything, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to learn how to speak another languages. Okay, I'm still trying to rewire myself on how to speak these other languages and pronounce them the way that it is pronounced in that language. Okay, give me time. I'll speak them right eventually. Yet, unlike these texts, which are now readily available and widely read, the works of Hermes has been lost under the dead weight of academic translation, Christian prejudice, and occult obscurities. Until now, no simplified rendering of these writings has been available to the general reader. All previous versions in the English language are very dense, impenetrable, and loaded down with notes and subtext that make them difficult to digest. This new version, however, makes this ancient wisdom more easily accessible. It presents carefully selected extracts of the Hermetic text, linked together into a narrative and rendered into easily understood English. What emerges is an inspiring and illuminating taste of a forgotten classic. The history of the Hermetica. The early origins of the Hermetica are shrouded in mystery, but the evidence suggests it is a direct descendant of the ancient philosophy of the Egyptians. However, the handful of surviving works attributed to Hermes are not written in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, but in Greek, Latin, and Coptic. They were collated in the city of Alexandria in Egypt during the 2nd and 3rd centuries CE. Here, the Hermetic philosophy helped inspire some of the greatest intellectual achievements of the ancient world. Alexandria was a great century of learning, surpassing even Athens. Its founder, Alexander the Great, had conquered and united Greece, Persia, Egypt, and India into one vast empire. Cultures that had grown up more or less independently were brought together, and there was no bigger melting pot than Alexandria. Into this new universal city, it says G.K. Cosmopolis, poured men and women of every race and nation: Greeks, Jews, Egyptians, Babylonians, Phoenicians. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry, but I have never heard that word until today. And I just heard it in my, I didn't read it. I mean, I read it, but I confused myself. Phoenicians, and even Buddhists from India associated together in relative peace. The Alexandrians were renowned for their thirst for knowledge and under the enlightened Greek ruler Ptolemy, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Ptolemy the First, a library and museum were founded where human beings first systematically collected the wisdom of the world. At its height, the Library of Alexandria housed some 500,000 scrolls. These included the works of Isolde, um, Archimedes, and the astronomer um, Ptolemy. I can't pronounce it. Let me hold it. Let me hold it up so you can see. Where is it? There it is. Ptolemy. That name. Here. Oh my goodness! I lost my place. 1 second. Okay. I found my place. Astronomer Ptolemy. Right? The P is silent. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Who dominated the spheres of geometry, mathematics, and geography, respectively, until well into the Middle Ages. It contained the research of Aristotle of Samos, who had shown that the Earth is one of the planets orbiting the Sun, and Eratosthenes, who had calculated the circumference. If I'm pronouncing these wrong, I'm sorry. Circumference of the Earth to within a few percent. Scientists of the library knew nothing about the precision of the equinoxes. Oh, they knew about the precision of the equinoxes and that the moon was responsible for the rhythm of the tides. Alexandria was also rich in esoteric knowledge. Pythagoreanism, Chaldean oracles, Greek myths, Platonic and Stoic philosophy, Judaism, Christianity, the Greek mystery schools, Zoroastrianism, astrology, alchemy, Buddhism, and of course the ancient Egyptian religion were all practiced, studied, compared, and discussed. The golden age of Alexandria came to an end with the birth of the intolerant Christian Holy Roman Empire. Despite the sophistication and cultural achievements of the ancients, the Christians referred to them dismissively as pagans, which means country dwellers. In 415 CE, Hypatia, one of the last great scientists and pagan philosophers working at the Library of Alexandria, was seized by a mob of Christians who removed her flesh with scallop shells and burnt her remains. Their leader, Bishop Cyril, was later canonicized. Saint Cyril. The great library was finally destroyed as so much pagan superstition and this wealth of knowledge was scattered to the four winds. The Christian Roman Empire, Thaddeus, closed pagan temples across the empire and began the previously unknown phenomenon of book burning. For the West, the 5th century ushered in the 1,000-year period approximately known as the Dark Ages. The Hermetica in Islam. History shows that wherever the works of Hermes have been studied and venerated, civilizations have flourished. Pagan scholars and sages fled to the newly emerging Arab culture, taking their knowledge and the Hermetic writings with them. 200 years later, the Muslims created an empire whose learning and scientific achievements were unsurpassed. By the beginning of the 9th century, the first university was established in Baghdad called the House of Wisdom. Here, many pagan works were translated. The sciences that had reached such heights in Alexandria were significantly developed, and the ancient pagan spiritual wisdom I lost my place. Was covetedly studied and practiced. From its exalted positions among the scattered scriptures of Egyptian spirituality, the Hermetica became the secret inspiration for an important undercurrent in Islamic philosophy, and the holy book of the unorthodox religious sects such as the Cebuanese. We would have never heard of the mysterious Cebuanese had they not come into conflict with the religious authorities of their day. Several centuries after the death of its founder, Muhammad, Islam was beginning to succumb to the same desire for orthodoxy that had arisen in the Christian West. Heretics were to be rooted out, if necessary, with violence. In 830 CE, a powerful caliph was passing through the city of Haran when he noticed the strangely dressed Cebuanese and questioned their leaders. Asked to produce their sacred text, they returned with the books of Hermes. The genius philosopher scientist Thabit Enunquara, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, was a Cebuan who in 810 CE wrote the following rousing defense of the Hermetic paganism. We are the heirs and propagators of paganism. Happy is he who, for the sake of paganism, bears the burden of prosecution with firm hope. Who else has civilized the world and built cities, if not for the nobles and kings of paganism? Who else has set in order the harbors and the rivers? And who else have taught the hidden wisdom? To whom else has the deity revealed itself, given oracles, and told about the future, if not the famous men among the pagans? The pagans have made known all of this. They have discovered the art of healing the body. They have also made known the art of healing the soul. They have filled the earth with settled forms of government and with wisdom which is the highest good. Without paganism, the world would be empty and miserable. Pretty cool. And then I'll read this. Another unorthodox group within the Islam Empire who also traced their ancestry back to thrice great Hermes was the poets and mystics known as the Sufis. The 12th century Iranian Sufi philosopher Yahya, I can't pronounce his name, sorry. I'll show you his name real quick. You see his name right there? Right here. That's his name. You can pronounce it, let me know in a comment. made it his life's work to link what he called the original Oriental religion with Islam. He claimed that the sages of the ancient world had preached a single doctrine. This had been originally revealed to Hermes, whom Saradigri identified with the prophet known as Idris in the Quran and the Jewish prophet Enoch. In the Greek world, he claimed this philosophy had transmitted through Pythagoras and Plato, and in the Middle East through the Zoroastrian Magi. It had been secretly passed on until I lost my place again, until it had reached himself through a direct line of enlightened sages, including his own master, the Sufi mystic Allah. Not surprisingly, both Sar and Allah were executed by the religious authorities for heresy. Allah by crucifixion. And that's all I'll read because that's, well, I'll read the next part of it that I still have to read is Hermes and the Reawakening of Europe. So that's, I've already actually started doing that freaking light. Started doing a little writing on it myself. Or not writing, underlining the importance. But yeah, that's it for now. You know. And like I say, there's, you know, the 3 books that I'm currently, make sure they're all in the frame, currently reading on. If you have any questions, ask me, let me know. And yep, that's it for this video. I just wanted to read a little bit to post it on here. Excuse me. I love you. God bless you. And don't forget to donate to help support the channel. You can donate to Cash App or PayPal. This is my cash tag, and this is my whatever, I don't even know how you call it on PayPal. So please donate to support the channel. All donations go towards helping support my YouTube channel. Pay the electric bills, get better lighting, better microphone. I don't have a microphone. I'm using the microphone that's in the computer, the camera that's on the computer. A little cheap light from the dollar store. So yeah, just anything you can donate helps. I mean, you don't have to donate anything. I'm not asking you to. If you would like to, by all means. If it's going to hurt you financially, please don't. If you know somebody that needs it more than me, because I have a house, I have food, I have these things. If you know somebody that needs a place to sleep or a house and you can afford to get them a hotel room, buy them a little food, please do that first. Please. I want you to help other people who actually need more help than just supporting their YouTube channel. But if you can support the channel and you feel the need to, and please do. I love you. God bless you. Good night or good morning. Depends on what part of the world you're from. But I love you. And thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for your support. And that's it. Have a good time.